River Road, you got me running way back home. River Road, you got me running all night long. You got me singing some canal boat song. River Road, you got me running all night long.
Oh, I wish that song would go longer. What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Niner Nuts. I'm Dan, here with Eric this time. James is the one absent in this episode. Eric, how are we doing?
Hey, doing good today, Dan. How are you?
Not too bad, not too bad. I still have my hair, and my beard has not gotten any whiter, fortunately, given the events that have been going on in the last 72 hours.
Yeah.
It was pretty stressful seeing we signed that safety from the Lions, and Drake Jackson, his season just got shut down today. And oh yeah, we had more news on Brandon Aiyuk in 72 hours than we did the entire offseason.
Yeah.
So I reached out to you guys. By the way, we are taping this on the 8th, and my phone is here at the ready in case we have an emergency, because it's still 4 o'clock over on the West Coast. So if this episode is dated, like what happened when Nick Bosa signed, apologies in advance. But yeah, that's oh wow, I don't even know where to begin with the Brandon Aiyuk stuff. We've gone through. He was allowed to start talking to other teams. He finally got permission to do that. And then it started trickling in that Pittsburgh was in negotiations, New England was in negotiations, Cleveland was in negotiations, and then I want to say a fourth team was.
I haven't seen a fourth team. I've just seen
the Commanders.
Oh,
but not too long after that, my phrasing of the time is probably going to be inaccurate, but at some point the Commanders just flat out fell out. And then the Browns are kind of hanging in, kind of, sort of. They're not out, but they're definitely in third place. Well, I guess second place now because New England flat out dropped out. And we do know what they offered him allegedly. They were apparently going to offer a 4-year, I think $126 million contract, whatever the proper math is for $32 million AAV.
Yeah.
And my favorite part about that story is that Brandon shut that negotiation down. Brandon straight up said that he didn't want to go to New England. So that raises a whole bunch of questions about, okay, it's not about the money then, because you're not going to get a contract up to 32 anymore because you rejected a contract at 32. So what do you want now from Cleveland or Pittsburgh? And then, like I said, Washington's fully out too, because the way we're treating this, to my understanding, the way that we've been treating this for 72 hours is we're treating him like he has a no trade clause. John has time and time again, looking at Jimmy G, looking at Trey Lance, he stays loyal to people like Jerry Jones, but he does not cave to the player like Jerry Jones.
Right.
He respects them enough to try to get good trade value out of them or find a way to talk them into either a less guaranteed contract, a lesser overall contract. Like, he's found a way historically to make it work. And the door to come back to us is not closed, but our offer, to my knowledge, is the lowest offer, allegedly like $26 million a year, which is less than what Jalen Waddle took, which is less than what Devontae Smith has. It's the lowest of the top tier. He would be the lowest paid of the top tier receivers, and lower than Devontae Smith, a number 2 receiver. And it would be lower than Amon. It's going to be lower than Jamar when he signs, Justin, all those players. So I guess trying to not go so long-winded on here. It's a mess. Like, there's rumors that we're trying to get a third team involved to do the first three-team trade that I can remember seeing. I've only watched football for, this would be my 12th year following, like, as in depth as this, but I can't recall when a three-team trade has ever happened, if that would actually happen. We don't know if Brandon's going to accept a trade or sign with the Niners. We don't know if if either of those options are even going to happen right now while we're taping, tomorrow before our game, immediately after the game on Sunday or Monday, or if it's going to go all the way to goddamn kickoff. There's no timetable. This is just, it is a mess, but I don't know. I don't remember. I can't recall, maybe because I just didn't care about the player, but like, yeah, this is a mess, and this has surpassed Robbie Gould as the most contentious contract that John has dealt with in 7 years. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, I mean, I think the Debo one was pretty contentious as well. I mean, Debo threw out pretty quickly early on that he wanted to trade, and he pulled all his stuff off Instagram, said he wasn't coming back, and all that kind of stuff too. But I mean,
and then he signed a lower market contract. I remember because he I think at the time 30 was the benchmark, and he took like 26 or 7. So yeah, he went ahead and just accepted the low ball.
Yeah. So I mean, I look at this as somebody that was dealing with a petulant child. And basically, Brandon has been stomping his feet and saying he wants $30 million a year. And we have said, that's great. I hear that you want a pink pony, but you're not getting a pink pony. I don't care how many times you ask for a pink pony. I'm not giving you a pink pony. So if you want a pink pony, find someone else that'll give you a pink pony and then come talk to me. And so, for the last however many months, we've been having the pink pony fight, and we've said, we're not giving you a pink pony. And he said he wants a pink pony. So then finally we just said, I'm tired of hearing you talk about it. Go find someone else to give you a pink pony. And he went and talked to all the other teams in the league, and he found 3 people interested in giving him a pink pony. He found Cleveland, Pittsburgh, and New England. Well, he smartly, and I'll give him credit for that, he decided that the pink pony that he saw in New England was really just a regular horse painted pink and didn't want to accept that. So I don't blame him for that.
Shout out to my friend, shout out to my New England insider. I promised I wouldn't dox him on the show, but shout out to him because we had a lot of fun texting about that. When I sent him, all I sent him was Pats are out. And then he sent me back, like, in all capital letters, F.
Yeah. So, I mean, he clearly still wants to win. Otherwise, he would have just taken the bag, right? He'd just taken the horse painted pink. So now it's pretty clear through the media that Cleveland has made a trade offer that the 49ers are at least willing to accept. It's pretty clear that they've said they'll ship Amari Cooper and some other stuff our way for Aiyuk, but they seem to want to give him a light brown pony, not necessarily a pink pony, but a light brown pony. And he doesn't seem to want a light brown pony. He still wants a pink pony. And it seems like the Steelers are offering him like a decently nice light pink pony, but it doesn't sound like the Steelers have what the 49ers are interested in. So he's stuck. And I don't know what his plan for getting out of that situation is going to be, because come another 4 weeks from now, he's going to be on the field in red and gold because he's under contract for a 5th year, and he's going to play for $14.5 million or whatever it is that he's owed this year. Now, maybe he's just a full-on free agent at the end of this year, and he can go and get his pink pony from wherever it is he wants to go get his pink pony from. I don't really care. But I think this year he's still going to be on the 49ers roster. Now, whether or not that's as a 1-year deal and he's finishing out the year and he's hopefully not a petulant child this year, although, he was in the doghouse year 2 under Shanahan because his head was not in the game and he wasn't playing right. And it took him about 6-7 weeks before he kind of got out and was, allowed to be part of the game. So, hopefully he keeps his head on straight and realizes that he's playing for a big money contract. I mean, that seems to me like that would be a whole hell of a lot of incentive if I was him and I didn't re-sign and I'm playing out the last year of my deal. Well, I'm going to go out there and ball out as hard as I can, because if I can put up 80 catches and 1,500 yards and 9 touchdowns, by golly, I'm going to get $35 million a year now from somebody else, right? So, I mean, it's in his best interest to play well, and I hope that he sees that. But I still think he's on the Niners roster this year. The only team I see them making a deal with is Cleveland. I don't think that anybody else is going to offer up what the Niners want back. You and I talked a little bit about it in the chat earlier today. The Niners want a player of some sort of impact back. And that's why the Browns trade is so appealing, because they're willing to send Cooper back. So, I mean, like, yeah, Cooper's 30, but he's still very good. He's a high quality receiver. So, the drop off that we would have from losing Aiyuk is less impactful. Cooper's going to fit in. He's going to make plays. He's going to be a real good receiver for us. If the Steelers aren't willing to send Pickens back, not saying that the Niners necessarily want Pickens, but that's all that they have. If they're not willing to send Pickens back, if I didn't make the deal to trade Aiyuk for a bunch of draft picks at the draft, 6 months ago or whatever it was, or even 3 months ago in the off season, why would I make a trade for draft picks now? Like, it doesn't make any sense. I've got to get some sort of player back that makes an impact on my roster. And if it's not a replacement receiver, because losing Aiyuk is huge if we don't have somebody come in and replace him, because Ricky's not ready yet. And I mean, so you've got to have something. I guess if we got like a really good offensive lineman back, but nobody's trading offensive linemen. Nobody's going to do that. So,
if they were willing to, the only real like superstars Pittsburgh has, if we did a tit for tat, it would be George Pickens, but that's all they have on offense because Najee Harris is not the guy. No running back. No running back is the guy.
We don't need a 17th running back.
Yeah. So TJ obviously is that's not happening. TJ's not happening.
No.
Minka. My point is that it's got to be somebody like Pickens, Minka, or TJ. Yeah. I don't think they're going to be willing to move on from any of them, which is why the rumors of a third team coming in now, that the Steelers give a bunch of draft picks to, they get Brandon, and then we get that player from a third team. That's not going to happen, though. Yeah, that is not going to happen.
That seems really complicated to me. I mean, if I'm the Steelers, right, and I trade away, and I make a trade for Aiyuk, and I trade away Pickens, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I guess I think Aiyuk is better than Pickens, but like, but I'm gonna have to trade away Pickens and some draft picks. I'm not just not a 1-for-1 player swap. So, I mean, did we get really, really better by trading for Aiyuk and dumping Pickens and probably a second and a fourth draft pick? I mean, like, did we really get that much better? I don't know that we did, because our quarterback situation, if I'm the Steelers, right, our quarterback situation is still completely unresolved. I have Russell Wilson and Justin Fields, who I have no idea if either of them are any good or not. So I could be paying a guy, because I've got to sign Aiyuk. So now I could be paying a guy $30 million a year to run around the field all day long and not have anybody that can throw the ball to him. So why do I really want to do that? Like, that doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. So if I'm the Browns and I trade Aiyuk for Cooper, well, that makes sense. I'm getting a receiver that's 3-4 years younger. I'm getting a guy that's probably as good, same good, maybe a little better, whatever. And I give up a little bit of draft capital, but I'm getting a guy that's younger, and I'm benefiting there. I mean, but for the Steelers, I just don't really see it improving their team drastically. I mean, yes, Aiyuk is better than Pickens, but their quarterback situation sucks. So I mean, I don't think that
Right.
he's going to be that big of a difference maker.
Does he really he doesn't want to just fulfill the meme, but there was the meme that he and Mike Tomlin, Mike Tomlin being his dad. Like
yeah,
I
yeah.
completely agree. I mean, I am more I think it's going to be a better situation than they had last year. It's just a matter of who's going to throw the ball.
Well,
Is Justin with his problems going to win out, or is Russell with his problems going to win out? It's going to be a better situation than last year, period. But again, it is a tepid ceiling no matter who they go with, Justin or Russell.
okay, but if it's a better situation than last season, right?
I'm saying compared to Kenny.
No, I'll grant you that, right? But if it's a better situation than last season, Pickens last year had 63 catches, 1,140 yards, and 5 touchdowns with trash.
Yeah.
Absolute trash for a quarterback, right? He had Kenny Pickett and Mason Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And he still put up 1,140 yards and 5 touchdowns. So you mean to tell me that if Russell Wilson and Justin Fields aren't at least a moderate improvement over top of the trash that they had at quarterback last year, that Pickens isn't now an 80 catch, 13 to 1,400 yard, 8 to 9 touchdown kind of guy anyways?
Yeah, and he'd be
So,
cheaper. He's still on what? This would be the last year of his rookie contract, or I think this is his third year.
I mean, I could tell you here in a second.
Well, I mean, they wouldn't be paying him $30 million for probably the same statistically.
This is his third year.
Okay, so
So
yeah, the last year of his rookie contract, because next year will be the year that they. I mean, no, next year they could force him to play the fourth year and just renew the fifth year option. But
he was a second round pick, so he doesn't have a 5th year option.
oh, this is a contract year for him. Oh, okay, I thought he was a first round pick. Okay.
Mm-mm. No, but still, my point
So
is
he's gonna try to ball out this year then and get paid.
well, I would think so. So my point is, though, if you're saying that the quarterback level is going to bubble up to at least mediocre from where it was last year, then
Bubble
what?
up to mediocre.
Yeah. Then I mean, how much better is Ayuk really going to be than Pickens? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
is
No,
he
that's a
really
very fair question.
going to be that much better? Because I mean, let's face it. Let me look up Brandon's stats real quick.
He was, I want to say, 72 or 75, 1,300 yards and 7 touchdowns, I think.
Yeah. So, I mean, in our offense, where he had a fantastic quarterback surrounded by playmakers, all world number, all the opportunities in the world, 75 catches, 1,300 yards, 7 touchdowns. You mean to tell me that if Russell Wilson and Justin Fields aren't just average compared to the trash that George Pickens played with last year, that George Pickens can't hit 75 receptions, 1,300 yards, and 7 touchdowns? I mean, come on.
Right.
So if I'm the Steelers, I don't even know why I'm making this trade. But
If you can't just pair Brandon with him, pairing
Right.
Brandon with him would be the perfect scenario. But
Right.
yeah, no.
If I can take on Ayuk and run him with Pickens, then yes, I've made my team demonstrably better. But if I have to send Pickens away as part of the trade, I'm not interested in doing that deal. There's no point. And I think that's the hang up there that the 49ers are having, is that they want Pickens back, or they want, somebody else back from this Steelers roster that's a good player, like you said, like a Fitzpatrick or a TJ, which, I mean, they're never going to come up with any of those guys, and that's fine. But if I'm the 49ers, I'm like, well, too bad, so sad for you, Brandon. I'm not doing this deal because I'm not getting back anything that's meaningful to me. I mean, they don't even have like a good they don't even have really good corners to send back. I mean,
They
if you could give me like a lockdown corner, I would take a lockdown corner back, but they don't even have a lockdown corner.
we don't well, they just got Patrick Queen from the Ravens in free agency. Like, they're not going to send Queen. Like, Queen is going to be the king of that defense
Yeah, but we
next
don't
to
need him
DJ.
because we're gonna get Greenlaw back at some point.
Yeah, that's the only other real like superstar. Like, I mean, Queen had a great year last year, but his whole career was really quiet up until last year. But
Yeah. So I mean,
so
what are you? I mean, what are you sending me back? So it just doesn't make any. It doesn't make any sense from the Niners' perspective. I've stood on this.
yeah,
I've stood on this since day one, and I continue to stand on it. I think that the 49ers should sign Brandon to a deal that makes sense for them and makes sense for the organization. They have done a very good job so far and have continued to do a good job of signing players and negotiating deals that work for the organization overall and have not put us into a absurd position with the cap to this point. I mean, we're going to see, we're about to start entering cap hell next year, but
don't remind me.
but they've done a really good job with the way that they've negotiated deals and renegotiated deals and structured things and just kept things moving along. And I think that they should continue to do that. I don't think that you just simply cave and overpay for a player in this particular instance, because once you do that, now the precedent has been set. And now every other time, every other player that's hold out is going to want you to cave and want you to pay them. And we're going to always have some other guy that's up next and that's going to want to cave and want to get paid, and you can't do that. And I've always said since day one that they need to pay him what they think makes sense for the team and makes sense for the structure of the roster and makes sense for the structure of the salary cap. And if they can't agree on numbers and they can't agree on terms, then so be it. Then it just doesn't work. And that's not the Niners' fault. That's not Brandon's fault. That just, it is what it is. And the same thing applies to a trade. That's great that Brandon found the Steelers that apparently want to give him a kind of pink pony. If the Niners don't want back what the Steelers have to offer, I'm perfectly fine with them saying, Brandon, that's great that you found someone willing to give you that pink pony that you like, but they're giving us back a shit sandwich, and I'm not really interested in that. And I'm sorry, but we're not going to do that deal just because you found something that you like. That's not helping us. So
Right.
too bad, so sad. We'll see on September 8th or whatever the season start date is. I mean, like, that's all there is to it.
Yeah. No, it is the business angle of it. And I really do and have admired how John has handled these not even for the most part. Like, sure, like, just the obnoxious fan side of me is like, why didn't we get this guy logged in sooner? And then Jimmy, of course, is gonna be like, well, we got our guys signed back in April. Like,
Yeah.
I the time frame doesn't really matter as much to me. Like, yeah, it was a little stressful with Jimmy and then Nick, and I didn't stress that much over Robbie. He was a kicker,
Yeah.
but like at the same time, they all got done one way or the other, Jimmy being the other in this scenario. And honestly, I ruminating on it for the last couple of days, I do agree a Pittsburgh trade just doesn't make any sense. And I would like to know why he wants to go to Pittsburgh. Cleveland, yeah, at least we would get Amari out of it allegedly.
Yeah.
Like John's trying to this is just a really fascinating thing to watch the way John is handling this, because no, Brandon and him are very much on the same page of we both have to be happy. Like, cool, you got the contract that you want. I'm not getting what I want. And then in New England, John said, hey, we're okay with what New England's going to give us. And then Brandon had a change of heart. I don't really want to be with a rebuild and a new quarterback or a rookie quarterback and a first-year head coach, and it's cold up there, and
Yeah,
whatever his real reasoning is. So I
they
don't know. You
suck.
just
That's the real reason.
yeah. So I could see a hat trick coming, kind of in the same way that Jimmy the other, because clearly like he does not want to sign the 4 or 5 year deal that's worth $26 million AAV allegedly. And the Niners are probably only willing to come up to 27, maybe 27.5, I guess. Like, because Mike Garafolo was saying that the Niners kind of hinted that they were willing to come up, but they never presented an offer. So that was a point of aggravation for Brandon that, like, okay, if you're not showing me something, it's not an offer. Don't say you're going to raise it and then
Yeah.
not show me something. So I could see, because you can rescind a 5th-year option. You can rescind, like, for formality's sake, it's called a decline, but then they sign the contract and everyone's happy. 5th-year options get voided all the time with 5th-year or with a 5th-year rookie first-round picks. So I could see if Brandon, like, deep down in his heart, thinks that this is the best chance to get a ring and then cash in after the fact, whether it's the Niners or not. And he does love this team, like surely every player does. You chase money, but you do care about the franchise that drafted you. And especially a team that has had the litany of success that we've had. The only year that was bad for Brandon was his rookie year when we drafted him in the COVID year and everybody got hurt. So I could see them rescinding the 5th-year option and then just tell him, dude, like this year we have 40 or 30 something million in cap space. If we give you a 1-year fully guaranteed, like 26, like if we give you a single 26 or $28 million contract, fully guaranteed, no questions asked, like, will you stay for this 1 year if we guarantee $28 million?
Why would you do that? He's already on the hook to stay for $14.5 million. Why would I pay him more money? Who cares?
Because clearly he's gonna, I don't buy that he's gonna, I don't know. I just don't see, I don't think John's gonna make him do that. I think John is trying to avoid that as much as possible, and Brandon probably would hold out, like actually
He
start
can't.
holding out. Like I don't know.
Are
John
you gonna hold out for $1 million a week? He hasn't made enough money.
I don't know. It's just part of me. I hear what you're saying.
It's $1 million a week.
Right. No, I hear what you're saying. It just doesn't, I don't get that vibe from John these 7 years that he's going to, I mean, it could end up happening like that, but like, I don't know. I worry about that vibe in the locker room. Like if Brandon's gonna like,
Again, you're on your last year of your deal. Ball out and then go get your money.
True.
Don't be a cancer in the locker room, because that'll get out. People will hear that you were bad in the locker room. Be your good locker room person and go ball out on the field, and every catch you make is just more money in your pocket.
Right. That would, if somebody could tell him that, and we just like, I see John having that conversation with him saying like, yo, we get it. We're not paying you 1 year of $30 million. We're not doing that. We'll sweeten the deal. We completely get it. We'll give you something that's more than 14.5, but that is not going to break our pocket.
No.
The contract will say we're not going to franchise tag you. We'll have it in the contract that we will not franchise tag you, and then you can go get your money. But meet us halfway. We'll give you a fully guaranteed 26, maybe a fully guaranteed 27, and then you're off the hook. Because that's what we did for Jimmy. But Jimmy took a pay cut. But that's essentially what we did with Jimmy. Like, there's a crap load of incentives. What you are going to get is fully guaranteed, and you're off the hook, and we're not going to franchise tag you in writing.
But Jimmy was a free agent.
No, he was on the last year of his deal.
No, I think he was a free agent.
Was he?
Yeah, I think he was good to go. I think he was a free bird, and we brought him back.
I thought that was the result of us trying to trade him. Or wasn't it I'd have to look it up. I can't remember.
I think he was gone.
Interesting. I'm going to I want to.
Or
I did. I just. I
you
want
might
to
be
know.
right. You might be right. He might have been on the last year of his deal, and then we just renegotiated him down. But we renegotiated him down, not up. Like, I'm not paying a guy more money to come play. I'm not begging a guy with more money to come play for me for 1 year. I'm not doing that. He's already under contract. You're coming to play for your $14.5 million, or you're not going to play. I don't care one way or the other.
Right. The he agreed to. Well, it says he agreed to a 1-year contract. So let me see when he signed his deal with the Niners, because it was a 5-year deal. In 2017, no, 2018, he signed his big ass contract.
So he would have still been under contract then.
18, 19, 20, 21, 22. Yeah, so no, 20. So yeah, remember, because we were trying, it was a whole hoopla about trying to trade him, and then John was like, no, we want to at least second round pick.
You're right. Yeah, you're right.
Say I didn't. I was gonna say, with all due respect, I don't think I'm crazy on that.
No, you're right.
We spent half the podcast that year talking about it.
You're right. You're right. So that's my bad. But yeah, I mean,
no, to your point, yeah, getting, like, it was to get him to take a pay cut. But
yeah,
see, I still think, just because John likes his players the way that that Jerry Jones does, I could see him definitely saying it's a fully guaranteed. We have it in writing that we will not franchise tag you, but, like, just out of respect for you, like, we'll pay you more, but you got to meet me in the middle. I'm not paying you 30 or 32 million. No. I'm not saying it's the right thing to do, but I could see that happening.
I think the other thing that this whole trade thing does is it's helped solidify the 49ers position in the market. I think that they've shown that, Brandon says he wants $30 million a year, and his pink pony, and they said, go look for your pink pony. And there were 29 other teams in the NFL that said, we're not paying you and giving you a pink pony. And the 49ers went, see, there's no pink ponies to be had. And then one team said, well, we'll give you a really pink pony. Now, granted, it was just a horse painted pink.
Yeah.
And then they went, well, if you really want to go to that horse painted pink, you can do that. But just think about where you're going and what you're getting yourself into and where you're going to be. And is that really what you want compared to what you have now? And he went, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I don't want to go there. That sounds like that sucks. I do like winning.
He wants to have his cake and eat it too, and that's ultimately what's holding this up. That to agree with you, Brandon can't have it both ways, and John has, through his actions, has made that clear. Like, if you're happy with the contract, then I don't want to lose you, but I don't want to pay you $32 million a year. So because I have the contract rights, I got to get what I want.
Yeah, we're offering you a good value contract, an opportunity to be highly successful on a very good franchise that's going to continue to be successful for a number of years based on the plan that they have in place.
And it doesn't mean he can't renegotiate in another year or two. Like,
well, as we've clearly seen, like Tyreek Hill and all these other guys just renegotiate their contract after a couple of years anyways.
Yeah, so, sign your deal, get the signing bonus, and then, okay, like, maybe you have to write it out in the cap hell year when we pay Brock Purdy. He definitely won't be the priority next year, but say 2026, and wide receivers might be getting like 38 million a year. If his production's staying the same, okay, let's see if we can do 34 or 35 million. Like,
we just move some of your guaranteed money. We just move guaranteed money around, whatever. I mean, that's fine. I have no problem with paying for performance, but I think this showed that there's only a few teams willing to even pay that. And it's clear that the Browns aren't willing to pay that. The Browns are clearly only willing to pay probably similar to what the 49ers are paying, 27, 28 million, whatever it is. Otherwise, that deal would be done. If they were offering him a pink pony, we'd have Amari Cooper on our roster right now. But we don't, because they're only offering, a regular pony.
Yeah.
Same one. They're offering the same pony that we're offering. Now the Steelers have apparently offered like at least a pretty decent pony,
like a 29 pony instead of a 28 pony.
Yeah. It's at least a kind of pink pony. It's got some pink spots on it, right, or whatever. But it's not, they're not offering anything back. So, I mean, again, the Niners are like, whatever, man. Like, don't really care. It's fine. So, I mean,
we have a
I
lot
think,
of cap. Here's the thing. We have like 30-40 million in cap space right now. We're -8 next year based on projections.
yeah.
Like we are pretty effed in the money next year. Like, yeah, $8 million is not that hard to get under, but to go to that from plus 30 million, like in the green,
Yeah.
that's bad. That's
Yeah. Oh,
really
yeah.
bad.
Yeah.
That's
But
before signing our $60 million quarterback.
yeah. Yeah. But I mean, that's fine. Purdy's only going to make $1 million next year and $1 million after that and $1 million after that. And then he'll make like $200 million in like 2028.
Yeah, he'll have like he'll have 5 void years of 50 million.
Yeah. Yeah. Something ridiculous like that. But I mean, it's just, I think this whole thing has just been an effort to, like I said, take the petulant child and just say, look, fine, this is what you want. Go see if you can get your grandparents to give it to you. And and deal with it that way. And he's found out that he's not worth $30 million a year to the very vast majority of the teams in the NFL. And there's only like 2 that want to pay him $30 million a year, or at least close to $30 million a year. And we can't work a deal with them because those 2 teams suck and don't want to send anything back of any sort of value. And so we're stuck. And so I still stand by the fact that he's coming back one way or the other. Either he's finally just going to give up and give in and sign a deal that's $27-28 million a year for 4 years or 5 years, whatever it is, or he's going to play his final year on the 5th year deal because it's all guaranteed. He's going to play his 5th year deal and leave. And if that's the case, then so be it. Then I wish him well. He decides to leave this organization. That's on him. I mean, it's what happens.
Don't be surprised though if we rescind the 5th year option and give him a slightly better single guaranteed year.
No,
it could happen.
Not gonna happen. I will be mad.
It could happen. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying it could happen. Don't rule that out.
I will be furious.
I would rather he sign the 5 year. I would rather he signed the 4 or 5 year deal at 26 million. That would make me the happiest. I want to make that very clear. I don't want him to sign a single fully guaranteed year deal. I'm just saying that the way John handled Jimmy makes me think that could happen with Brandon.
Yeah, I would much rather he sign a 4 or 5 year deal. I don't even really care what the number is. I mean, it could be $30 million a year as far as I'm concerned. It's clear that that's not an option that the Niners have presented him, or we wouldn't be in this discussion. But I mean, whatever magic number it is that the Niners feel that they have to hit, that they have to get to, I hope that's what they're able to agree on and get to, be it 26, 27, 28. I mean, it seems like with the way that the receiver market is now, it seems more like 28 is probably the number that you're going to have to come in at. It doesn't seem like 26 is very realistic. And I realize that we're quibbling over $2 million, which I mean, like $2 million is a whole hell of a lot of money to me, but I mean,
oh, dude. I would take a veteran's minimum contract.
yeah. I mean, but I mean, like
that is
in the grand scheme of things, we're quibbling over $2 million for him. It's insanity, but I mean,
I'll take Purdy's $900,000 contract.
yeah, exactly. But I mean, 26, 28 million. I mean, it sounds like stupidness to quibble over, but I mean, it's clearly a problem. So I mean, whatever. But it sounds like 28 million is probably more the number that they need to get him to. 28, 28.5, something like that, is where the Niners need to get to. And I mean,
do we want to have the existential conversation about how the worth of the NFL compared to the salary cap, and the salary cap should really arguably be like $400 million per team?
That would be great. So, but I mean, you could also live in the era when I grew up where there was just no salary cap and you could just build superstar rosters and it was just fantastic. So
you mean what baseball's doing? Because clearly the luxury tax is a real problem.
Yeah. The Dodgers just really struggle with that. So,
but
yeah, I mean, I guess I've said since day one that a deal would get done. I still think that a deal is going to get done. I'm going to stand by that. I'm going to stand by my prediction. I hope that I'm right. I'm not going to lie. I feel less confident about my prediction. But I still believe that that's ultimately what's going to happen. I think all of this is just the posturing of what happens when you go through a really tough negotiation with two sides that aren't really willing to budge. I mean, it's very clear that Brandon is stuck on 30 million. I mean, we're just making an assumption, but that seems to be what he wants and where he's stuck at. And it's very clear that the Niners don't want to pay him 30 million for whatever reason. And until they can, build that bridge together, it's not going to happen. But, like I said earlier, in the next 4 weeks, he going to be on the field one way or the other. And so that is what it is. I mean, there's zero chance he is not playing this year. There's no way he's not playing. He's going to play.
I will contend that. I can't say I was playing devil's advocate because he's going to play. You have fully scrubbed that from my mind, but you have not scrubbed the single year contract worth more than 14. Until I see his contract, I will believe that is honestly in play, but maybe like a break in case of emergency, like last resort, like, okay, we clearly can't agree whether it's over the guaranteed money or the AAV. If I just give you like 25 million, give you no franchise tag next year, like, can we just shut up and play this year, please? Like,
I mean, that's an interesting thing that you've brought up that we haven't even really talked about yet. I mean, like, Brandon is throwing this big hissy fit right now and being the way that he is about stuff. He's under contract for this 5th year. There's absolutely no reason and nothing that stops us from franchise tagging him next year. I mean, we can tag him. Now, he cannot sign the tag if he wants and pull a Le'Veon Bell and just sit. But, I mean, there's nothing that stops us from just franchise tagging him. Now, he'd make the average of the top 5 wide receiver salaries. But if he comes in and balls out and plays great, well, then I guess maybe you are worth $30x million a year. And that's what we have to pay you on the market. That's what we have to pay you on the market. But I mean, you can't just franchise tag him next year. So really the 49ers have him under control for 2 more years if they really want to be assholes about it.
I mean, 3, you can franchise tag someone twice in a row, can't you?
Yeah, you could, but I mean, it'd be pretty astronomical the second year around.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, that would be like a $50 million franchise tag.
Yeah.
Or no, really, that could be like 60 with the way the market exploded this year.
Yeah.
Like, I was laughing. Well, first off, sorry if you heard that. I don't know what the hell happened, but that was really, really loud on my end. If you heard something that sounded like it fell. But also, I'm not holding my phone because there was a Brandon update, but I did just see this really, really funny thing about the other wide receiver that's having a massive holdout in Dallas.
I was just going to say, CD Lamb still hasn't even signed.
Oh, yeah. No, we don't have another hour to talk about that nonsense, which is hilarious because they have 3 players in that situation. And God bless them. That's so funny.
Yeah.
But I don't know who John Makota is, but he wrote a tweet that says, Cowboys owner Jerry Jones on contract talks with CD Lamb, quote, I don't have any urgency to get it done. And which is funny enough, but CD Lamb literally retweeted it with lol. just
That's great.
Yeah, he just retweeted it with lol.
That's great. That's great.
We don't have as bad a mess as Dallas does, and I think that's a great note to end this on while we're still waiting.
I agree.
That was a live reaction to that. That's so
amazing. I love it.
So damn funny.
Yeah.
We could be Dallas. I like our GM more, so we can at least rest assured that John. We know that John is going to exhaust every single option to try to make Brandon happy.
Yeah,
because he's not a dick. If anything about John, he is not a dick. He will stand up for his players, but clearly he's not afraid to stand his own ground in the interest of the team business.
Yep.
Which, yeah. So take that, Jimmy. That was an unnecessary shot at Howie. He's a great GM too. So anyway, on to our sponsor, who are still with us, going on year 2 with us, and we love them. RoyalRetros.com. What is Royal Retros? It is your go-to place to get yourself an authentic throwback jersey, whether it's football or any of the other major sports. Royal Retros has you covered. Go check out that candlestick collection as you see here. Whoop, other hand. There we go. It's curated with the Bay Area in mind. So when you find something that you like, throw it in your cart and use the promo code Shady Sports, and that will get you 10% off of your entire order. Again, it's promo code Shady Sports to get 10% off of your entire order at royalretros.com. That's royalretros.com. Again, promo code Shady Sports. Go get yourself an authentic throwback jersey today. So, James usually does this, so I always have to scramble a teeny bit. Guys, we started a hashtag at first quite a few months ago. I'm not sure if we're at the anniversary of it yet. We probably are. But it started out with Dan Snyder, and it's now evolved into the Panthers owner, our own principal owner. There's a lot of owners that have not been held accountable for, let's call it shenanigans, that they've been getting themselves into off the field. We all know, especially the Panthers owner is now the most hated owner in the league. Jim Irsay, well, when he gets healthy, I'll feel more comfortable bashing him again. But
I would pass for right now.
I would rather not kick someone while they're down in a wheelchair. As longtime listeners know, I have plenty to say about him. But now that he's actually sick, I'll hold reservation.
Yeah.
But yeah, we started this hashtag, owner accountability, owner standards over player standards, because we think they need to be held to a higher standard than the players, not just the same ones. And to do that, we started creating T-shirts that were raising money for charity. That was not grammatically correct, but over here on bonfire.com, you can see all of our shirts. We have 4 designs up there right now. This first one has our hashtag on it. It's got the most color variety. It's got the most shirt style variety, tons of sizes there. They're made per order, and we're raising money for a Kentucky crisis center, specifically the Mountain Comprehensive Care Center. Had to pull the name up there. But yeah, the money's going to Mountain Comprehensive Care Center in Kentucky. We picked them because of the minority owner in Houston. So we wanted to raise money for that wonderful crisis center for women in Kentucky. But anyway, the next shirt is our red alternate logo. It's got the field goals with the peanuts. This one I think looks personally best in red, but you got the other color varieties. Again, you can do a hoodie, crew neck, short sleeve, long sleeve, whatever you desire. This one is our show logo that you see when you listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or whatever your preferred podcasting platform. Same deal. This one's only in gray, but any size, any kind of shirt style. And then our last one is our alternate mascot, a peanut eating a bowl of peanuts, sitting in a beanbag chair, patiently waiting for Saturday when we have our first preseason game against the Titans. All those shirts, again, are available at bonfire.com. We have the link to it in our show notes, and the money is all going towards Mountain Comprehensive Care Center. It's a crisis center in Kentucky. And proceeds will go to them. We don't want any money for these shirts. So again, just look at the link in our show notes. And thank you for the support. Any little news blurb to close out the show as we usually do. We still have no Brandon update. That's all over. CD Lamb is just all over my wall right now because of that. Oh my God, that is just so damn funny.
That's great. The only news blurb that I have was that Team USA almost lost to Serbia in basketball today, and they would never, ever, 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 ever in a million years hold a candle to the original Dream Team. So suck it, current Team USA. You could never even touch the greats of the original Dream Team. They would blow you out of the water by 30 points.
Yes, I didn't even mention I've been trying to keep up with the Olympics. It's been a lot of fun to watch. I watched some with my mom and my sister. I've watched some here and there. My wife's not quite as into them as I am, but it's been fun to watch. Actually, quick question, not to make a whole segment out of it. On Monday's episode, we talked about things that we're looking most forward to position wise, like what are we keeping our eye on? Is there one or two things that you're going to be really keen looking on at our preseason game. Well, when this drops tomorrow, but for me, it's going to be what's our offensive line look like, who's going to be out there as a corner 2 and nickel, and then my honorable mention was the backup quarterback situation.
I hate preseason football with a passion. So
You
watching it,
you don't care how the roster's made, you just want the final result.
yeah, I don't care. Don't tell me how the sausage is made. Just give it to me when it's done. So I hate preseason football with a passion. The players don't care. Nobody cares. None of it matters. It's very, very difficult for me to watch. I only watch it when the starters play for like the quarter that they randomly play at some point in time during the preseason. I will probably pay attention to see how our backup running backs play. I think that's always a crucial position for us, because we do need somebody to come in and give McCaffrey a break every now and then. So I'm interested to see who's going to take the reins with that. You know, Mason's been getting a lot of run in practices, and seems like he's got the lead on being the second back this season.
And the
So
cheetah is back.
yeah, yeah. So kind of curious to see a little bit of how that plays out. You know, I'll be interested to see what happens at the cornerback positions, just because we did bring in a lot of different guys for that in this offseason, and it'll be good to see them get some looks. But I mean, they're playing against other third and fourth stringers, so I mean, like, you know, it's really hard to tell if they're really any good or not.
Right.
So, but I mean, I guess if they just look like trash against third and fourth stringers, then you know they're not really any good anyway. So I mean, like, I kind of look for when I bring myself to watch any bit of preseason football, I look for bad performance than I do more than I do good performance, because I don't trust good performance in preseason, because again, I don't think that the players are necessarily really trying, and I don't think that the level of competition is really good and much matters. I think that guys can look really, really good in preseason and then suck come to the regular season when they start playing against actual players. But I think if you look bad in preseason, I think that's a real precursor to the fact that you're obviously going to also look bad in the regular season. So that's probably the biggest takeaway that I have from preseason football is I just watch for people to look bad. So, you know, I want to make sure that guys, I guess, you know, the other thing to be is make sure like our receivers are getting open, aren't dropping balls, that kind of thing. You know, like last year, the little bit of preseason football I watched, the takeaway that I took from Ronnie Bell was that he ran hard, but he dropped the ball a lot. And that translated into the regular season of he didn't see the field a lot. And when he did, he dropped the ball a lot. So,
Yeah.
I mean, that's
Yeah. No, points very valid. I only contend that I would contend that they are competing, like, because they're trying to make the roster, even though they know they're third or fourth stringers. But that aside, all your other points are very valid. It's not great football.
no.
The fourth quarter in particular, I will agree, is very hard to watch. But I didn't know, obviously we didn't know Purdy was going to be a starter, but uh James and I still very vividly remember us going, you know what? That he was wearing 14 at the time. We were like, you know what? That guy 14, look through my notes, Brock, he was a lot better than Nathan Peterman. And then lo and behold, Nathan Peterman got cut. So
Yeah.
that was kind of cool.
Yeah. So, but
Or not Peterman. No, Nate Sudfeld. Sorry. That was
yeah,
he outplayed Nate Sudfeld.
he would have outplayed Nathan Peterman too, but
Yeah. The
you
lowest rated guy in Madden 25 at 49.
wow, that's fantastic.
Yeah,
So
that's almost an accomplishment.
yeah. So but no, that's all I got for today, man. Thanks for the show.
Yeah, no, of course. Our outro music is River Road by Justin Muth. Uh Beat the Titans tomorrow, and yeah, I'm gonna do my best to watch the game live. I'm gonna probably watch a replay of it. But yeah,
What's it on?
NFL Plus, unless we move to San Francisco or unless we go to San Francisco tomorrow.
Oh, well. See, I can't even watch the game if I wanted to, so
I will yeah. Oh, and before we go, plan is to come back next week, but we will let you know if something doesn't line up right. But yeah, we should be back next week, guys. So outro music, Justin Muth, River Road. We'll catch you next time.
Later.
River Road, you got me running way back home. River Road, you got me running all night long. You got me singing some canal boat song. River Road, you got me running all night long. River Road, where have all the women gone? Have they kissed her hand and waved you bye-bye? Have they thought about crossing your double yellow lines? River Road, they love the